And then you can see by yourself the walls. We are only in the entrance. Where we are going straight on. Okay, so to see the big stones. One of the stones of Sacsayhuamán is about 350 tons and is in the center. Majority of them, they are about 90 tons, 60 tons, 50 tons, depends. But in the base foundation are the biggest stones. What is Sacsayhuamán? I told you yesterday, Sacsayhuamán. When you make full your head, okay? Full. Sacsay, full, and Uma, head. And what is Sacsayhuamán as real? What is Sacsayhuamán? All of the humans, we are in a one starship. What is our starship? Our Milky Way. And what is the representation of Sacsayhuamán? It's a starship. Has different gates, different entrance Sacsayhuamán, and all of the gates are facing special constellations. That's why you will see different gates, especially in the zigzag walls. They are facing Orion constellation, they are facing Pleiades, they are facing the Southern Cross, they are facing the sun, they are facing all the movement of our planets. It's very complete, our Sacsayhuamán. It's very interesting. I'm giving you the last information of the main archaeologists of this area. Majority of the people, they believe that Sacsayhuamán, it was used for a fortress. It's because the Spanish, when they come here to Sacsayhuamán, when they saw how big were the walls, they thought, this must be a huge fortress. But it's not a fortress. It's a huge temple dedicated to our Milky Way with all his constellations. That's why it's very special. In the top of Sacsayhuamán, there were two towers. One tower round, representing the female, and the other tower is a square, representing the male. Okay? It's incredible, Sacsayhuamán. Mr. Robert, you want to say something?
So,
Thank you.
so this is such a sacred place, and there's some really amazing things that we discovered as a result of being here the last time we were here. And as we get there, I'll just start speaking to it and everything. But obviously, your heads are probably pretty full right now, embodying the name of Sacsayhuamán, right? Because we just had a big lecture, and their head is full of mathematics now. Very full of math and physics. And the most important thing you have to remember is that, guess what? None of it's real. So the school that you're actually in right now is you're learning to be a magician. You just didn't realize it. And that's what this actually is. Because you have been all along, you just forgot. And as we go through this whole thing, you'll start realizing more and more there is no distance between your thoughts and the reality that you perceive around you. No distance at all. And you could create it. Last year, I remember talking about dragonflies, and one landed right on my hat while I was talking about dragonflies. It was this kind of thing that we had like magic all around. And I'm sure we're going to experience it. And the more coherence we experience together here, we will do some ceremonies as well. The nice thing is they're not so strict as there are in Egypt that block us from doing all kinds of stuff. But we will, and we're going to follow exactly also what the architect is telling us to do. So I already know when things we have to do and where we're going to do it. But just enjoy, listen to what he has to say. There's like two versions of history here, or maybe even more than two. He knows both, and he knows also the one that he believes and I believe, and it's very consistent. I believe this was an ancient Lemurian site, and this is probably something closer to between 50 and 80,000 years old, something along those lines.
Yes. And where the main spot for making the main ceremony, probably here in Sacsayhuamán, is located above this stone, because this is the Uma, this is the head. And in the top of Sacsayhuamán, especially in the top of this rock to have the shape of snakes, there is a hole in the center. Over there is a good spot for make the ceremonies you wanted, and also to take out the shoes to feel the ground. Okay? Instead of that, we'll keep going to the center, watching the gates. And the theory of Mr. Robert is true. I told you, all of the gates of Sacsayhuamán are facing two different constellations. Different constellations, pointing everywhere to our Milky Way. probably the main one is one of the biggest stones to is facing to the 7 stars. That's why one of the biggest stones has 7 angles. Okay, so let's explore this starship Sacsayhuamán, because it's an starship Sacsayhuamán. Watch yourself.
Starship. That's
And
right.
when you see the walls, I forgot of that. When you see the walls, is the snake skin. That why. If you see very well your skin, you will see similar than the snake skin. And Sacsayhuamán, people, they don't want to see snakes because snake is enemy in our vision. It was my enemy also a long time ago. Yes, but then when I understood, this is the snake, it's the big dragon. When I visit Chavin de Huántar, another ancient site in the north of Peru, I understood those buildings are starships representing our Milky Way, houses of all the souls who are coming to the earth. That way, really spiritual. As Robert said, this place, as less 80,000 years old. Recently, the archaeologists, especially Jorge Calero, he got a permission of this place. They were doing digging, making excavation under the walls, and they go really deep, really deep. Like in the pyramids of Egypt, also under Sacsayhuamán, there are lots of tunnels, lots of connections, lots of rooms. We don't know until now because majority of these caves, they were close-rated, they were closed. Okay, now let's go to see, please. Or probably,
Can I ask
Robert?
a question?
Yes.
Are we going into the tunnels?
We will pass.
In some of them, yeah.
We will
Okay.
pass just one cave to is possible to go. We will have the opportunity to pass in the dark. Okay, so
Headlamp or no?
if you want
If
to
you
use
have, it's
lamp,
good, yeah.
okay.
I
If
have
you
it.
want to pass through in the dark, okay, also.
If not, you can also use your iPhone. You know,
Yeah,
that
that's true.
works pretty decent for this.
Okay.
So let me ask you guys a question. So based on what we just learned, okay, all the things you see around you are what?
A reflection.
Reflections of what's inside of you.
Mhm.
So you could think of you're visiting yourself inside your kundalini. You're going to go to your brain, you're going to go to your heart, right? It's actually you that you're visiting. So everything that comes, how do you think I got all of that information I presented to you guys today? And most of it came in the last 2 weeks. I wrote a 200-page book in the last 2 weeks. It's called Physica Harmonica. But so, how do you think I got all that information? Downloads, right? Downloads. So how do I get the downloads? Being in tune
With what's
with
outside
the
of you.
environment outside of me. So I'm watching everything. On the way up here, there was a car that passed us, and Emilio noticed it. And the license plate said APP 137. Like it's software. Okay? Those types of things that happen are not random. The reason why we miss so many things, even like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the magic has begun. That's God, your higher self, your oversoul telling you, I'm here. And listen, because it's not direct, the communication. But this is why I'm saying, be mindful and notice everything. And if you have a feeling, even a tiny little intuition that something is like, this is a pattern, you're going to want to come in and say, Robert, so look, I found something. And that's awesome. And I love it when you do that. I can't always just like stop everything I'm trying to do. I'm trying to lead a group also. But keep it to yourself. And you know what? Post it to the group. Post your finding to the group so we can all benefit from it, not just me. Okay? So you might be, you take a picture, you see something strange, might be, you know, something weird happened, or you're thinking about something and then all of a sudden it came out outside. What I hope to help you guys be reminded of, because I'm not teaching you anything. Everything I said today in the presentation was everything you already know.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm doing is helping you remember it. So just take that in. You're already infinitely wise, infinitely brilliant, but you can still expand your infinity as we now learn. So just practice this, because that's the real reason for being here on these trips. It's about your inward journey. And imagine, now that they're finding tunnels here, what does that tell you about you?
Mm.
It's a U inverse, right? So if they're finding tunnels here and we're starting to go inside those tunnels, it's telling us that we're going deeper inside ourselves. As above, so below. Okay, let's go.
Even a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of stone is Sacsayhuamán? Is limestone half, and the rest is quartz or crystals. They have lots of crystals here. There are lots of vines, so we will see. If you put attention, you will see lots of vines of quartz. That's why they use. It's also representing the storm. That's why you hear, once we come here, brah! Yeah, so from the upper part of Sacsayhuamán, looks like this. When you hear the sound of the nature,
Ooh.
the nature, they were the first gods always. It was a big tower. Now we are watching only the 20% house used to be Sacsayhuamán. It was really big. What the Spanish, when they saw, the Spanish, they were the first people they saw Sacsayhuamán. The first army to come here, it was Francisco Pizarro, and he comes with a one writer. The name of this writer, it was Pedro Sanchez de la Hoz, and in his document he mentioned, in this new world, we never saw something so big. Make us remember the legends of Greece, where Hercules was living. Gods were living there, making big walls similar than the legends of Egypt, they say. Okay, so probably this place, it was something to was more impressed to the first Spanish or the first Europeans when they saw Sacsayhuamán. Then, per 2 years, the Incas, they used this place as a fortress. They were fighting against the Spaniards and against 100,000 of soldiers, the allies of the Spanish. Okay, so they were trying to climb the walls per 2 years. And the Incas, they were using the caves. Yes, 2 years. The last Inca he died here, he died in a one tower on the top. That's why I have here, I will show you. Here is the battle. The battle was here also. The tower, it was named Muyuk Marca. And the last Inca he died there, Cahuide. The Spanish, they wrote about Cahuide. They mentioned to Cahuide was really warrior, similar than Hercules, similar than the Trojans. He preferred to kill himself before be captured. He killed his brother Francisco Pizarro in the tower. So you have to know also what happened around here in Sacsayhuamán, because it happens also thousands. Here they were, for many years, they were hundreds of wars here in these fields where we are. Okay, that's why Sacsayhuamán has lots of history. In the 1940s, and unfortunately, the main governments of Cusco, they decide to destroy more Sacsayhuamán. The first one, they were the first Catholic they come to here. They use the rocks for make the main cathedrals in the base of the city. They were a natural quarry for them. It was a quarry for them. Lots of pieces of stones. And they did the main cathedral. And then they cover. In the 1940s, it was the last moment when they destroyed. In the 1940s, the governments of Cusco, they say to the people, to the population in the city, if anybody is able to go to Sacsayhuamán and to get stones, you can do it. You are free to do it, to make your houses. And everybody in the 1940s used to come with his trucks. They used to take the rocks from here, and they put in his trucks, and then return to house. In the 1970s, this place was starting to, the people from Cusco, they were starting to remember, to recognize to this place was sacred. And then the first Inti Raymi, or the first celebration of the sun, it was the 70s to 80s, like big celebration. And then they were making restoration here in Sacsayhuamán. Now you can see the little pieces of stones. This is a modern restoration, modern restoration. Okay, so ancient times, no, we don't know how they did it, but we have the idea to these places they were really, really ancient, really.
And you can generally tell this is just like Egypt. How many of you have been to Egypt before? So a few of you. So in Egypt, I just felt the first rain. In Egypt, you can tell which places are very old and which places are not so old. The larger the blocks, the older, right? Which is sort of counterintuitive because how did they work with these blocks? Well, I'll tell you how I believe they work with these blocks and how this was made. Anyone know?
Sound,
I feel like they had anti-gravity sort of frequency,
some vibration.
vibration. Mathematics.
How about if I told you Mandela Cascade? It was literally remembered into existence. And that is through sound. It is through all those things you just said. But it was remembered into existence. They remembered their future. And you can tell when they lost their ability because things were not finished. They would have several roads done. Because you didn't do it all at once. You did it in pieces. And that's what I just saw in Turkey. You could see where their Mandela Cascade ability was lost. As the world moved into an area where it was no longer able to sustain that level of frequency. So all of this was made with thought. So what does that tell you what you could do with thought? Anything.
We call apus. Okay, so one of the heaviest stones, this is 90 tons, the other one is 120 tons, so we will see, and in the center 350 tons we will see over there. Under here we don't know how many meters is still, we need to dig. In the future probably, if the main archaeologist Jorge Calero will receive some help, probably they will excavate. They need millions for do the excavation around here. Look, the size of the rocks is very
Wow.
pieces of mountain. The other guy is well, the other guy for it. We have like the puma hand. You can see.
Where's the
The paw, la mano, the paw.
Yes, it's the paw. Yes, of the puma. You see?
Yes.
Yes.
Or probably of something else. We don't know. Probably an ancient cat. Everybody's able to recognize. Okay. So look, the wall was probably 5 more meters at the top, and then the other wall, and then the other wall. And here, this stone, for example, looks as a face. Look, you can see.
If you look
You can
closely,
see the nose here, the nose, the eyes, and the mouth.
all of these stones have etchings on them.
They
Just
are
like in the Great
faces.
Pyramid, they all have etchings that are petroglyphs. And some of them are recognized by people, but some of them are not. And you can discover them. If you just look really closely, you can discover many.
Exactly like Mr. Robert said, when you go over there, take a photo, and in the afternoon, pay attention in the photo. Just make close and try to recognize all of them. They are faces of giants. The mountains, they don't have a beautiful faces. They are big nose, small nose. Yeah, so some of them they are smiling, some of them angry. It's like how nature is. It's just how nature.
What do you make of all the rounded indentations at the bottom of a lot of the rocks?
These holes, you're talking about the holes?
Well, yeah, because they're only on some stones, but they're all along. And then
Like
there's
this
here,
here,
Here, there are many holes, no? There.
and they wouldn't have eroded
The
that
theory, the theories say they dig the holes for move the huge rocks, for put like sticks, for hold the stones when they were carving. But another theory say they were part of symbology. Part of symbology, they are over there. They are representing symbology, kind of system of writing to use to work with shadows of sun and moon. Because there are many of these temples, especially in the upper part, Yesterday we were talking with Mr. Jorge Calero. And lots of these temples, they work with the reflection of the sun, reflection of the moon, reflections of the stars. This is an incredible knowledge. We are only in the beginning to understand. It's impossible to say, okay, this is for this is for that. But we understand thank you to the locations of the constellations and also of the sun and the moon and the stars. This is the only thing we know, but we are in the beginning. Because all the humans, we are remembering little by little. Yes, this conscience changing, it was starting according to Mayas since 2012. Yes, and also in Peru, also some people is remembering. But when I was young, no one used to know. The things I'm sharing with you, nobody used to talk about. Everybody used to say as a normal history, this place was a fortress, here we're fighting the Spanish, was made in the 14th century by Mr. Pachacute. But then little by little, the shamans, they return again from the Amazon with his knowledge. They were meditating, watching, using antiógenos. Like the San Pedro, Huachuma is a cactus to has mescaline. And they were meditating, drinking, remembering, and they say those are pieces of mountains. Faces of mountains. And also, now we know very well that this is an starship representing our Milky Way. We will see gates in different positions, especially in the second platform. We will see, okay? So, for me, it's an starship. Our Milky Way. The same starship for everybody. The same God for everybody, okay? So, that is what I know. Yes? And first? And here is the one of the tallest stones. It's almost 10 meters. This. Yes, this is only one piece of rock.
How many tons is that, Rumi?
This is 95 tons.
95 tons.
The closer quarry of these stones is come from 10 kilometers away. The closest quarry of Sacsayhuamán of all of these stones, 10 kilometers in the east-north part. Okay, according to archaeologists, they were carrying until here. We don't know what kind of instruments they use for carrying these stones. Majority of the people, they think is rodders. They use wooden to transport these stones. But to be honest, nobody knows. And nobody knows how they melted the corners. They were alchemists. I want to say welcome to the new people also to come today. Yesterday I was talking about the alchemists who were living in the Andes also. People who were able to know about plants and theogens, different things. The theorists say they knew a kind of plant who was able to melt the corners of the stones. That's why they looks like they were vitrified. Okay, they looks like vitro or glass, shining. Okay, when it's sun and when it's moon, when you come here, I will say true to you, when you come drinking huachuma or the cactus, they activate only full moon. Full moon. They don't activate any day. This is a secret. All the rocks here, they activate only in full moon. The Incas, they were able to speak with them only in full moon. And I know very well, to the first humans, yesterday I told you, the first humans of the earth, they used to pray first the moon. The first god of the humans, it was the moon. Then the sun. And then they were fighting each other. The moon people, they were normally snake people. And the other people, the sun lovers, they were cat people. They were fighting each other. No, my God, it's the man, it's the lion, it's the sun. And the other people of the moon, that happens in Tiwanaku. In Tiwanaku, majority of these temples are for moon. That's why snakes everywhere in Tiwanaku. And that's why it was his age. It was an ancient age when all of these temples were made. And in that moment, we're living also according to Andean legends, giants. They used to activate only in full moon. and they were making the walls. This is a legend, not my history, not my dreams. It's a legend today. If you go to Lake Titicaca, they still keep it, that legend. If you ask one local who made it, they will say the ancient Viracochas in the past, they call Viracochas to these giants, they used to work on full moon, only in full moon at night. Yeah, they were making, we don't know why they were making. And then when his age was finished, because they knew very well his age was finished, the legend said to the sun age was coming, some of them, they were sleeping. They become on rocks. That's why the shamans now, we know very well, if you want to talk and if you want to see the real symbology of these stones, you must use medicine. You must use mushroom, must use...
Have you ever been here on a full moon with Sacsayhuamán? And have you witnessed? Yeah, that's
I have to be honest with you. I have to be honest with you. Yes, I believe in these plants also. I respect too much. Yes, because I was remembered too. I was an alchemist also in ancient times. For me, it not what the teachers of the school, of the university used to say about this place. And that's why I say what happened. But I don't did for curiosity. I did one day when I was too much sad. And that was the beginning for me. And I understood different things. But I come in full moon here, and all of the wakas and all of the temples, they activate only in full moon. It's a secret. Yeah, you can make meditation in full moon. And also here they use a really sacred plant that is called wilka. In Chavin, the one time, they inhalate. Yeah, it's like rapé, no? Probably some of you know rapé. You blow, no? But wilka is stronger. Wilka means sacred in English. In Chavin de Huanta, they blow people with wilka. You blow and your soul. Yes, that's why I know many secrets of these places, because I use the medicine plants and I was with the shamans, living with the shamans in his groups. With them, I got this T-shirt from Mexico because the shamans of Mexico, they got me, you see? Yes, okay, so that's why I know how those are able to activate. One day you come in full moon, walk in the wakas, they are like...
We have a full moon thing planned already.
Yes! Yes!
I mean, it wasn't a coincidence. Wow. Yeah, this week is full moon.
Okay.
So it's going to be the second to last night, actually.
November 5th, I think
Do
it
you
is.
have the microphone?
Yeah, this is
So
the...
he said something. He said something that I think is important to mention. The architect said this to me yesterday, and I asked it. You know, how old is this site and everything? And it told me that the Lemurians were here first. And it said as much as potentially 100,000 years ago, but realistically more in the 50 to 80,000 year range is where this was really a prominent location for the Lemurians. And then also there was another species of people that lived here who were mixed with cats, which were the Lyran. So the Lyran became hybridized here. And this was their whole civilization. And that civilization that I mentioned yesterday, the Marin civilization, the one that was after the Atlanteans, and kind of like the post-cataclysmic Atlanteans, they were partially Lyran as well. So they stuck around even after the cataclysm, and they, continued for about 1,000 years. Around the world, they had pyramids, and these locations kept the resonance high. So that's what Thoth, Metatron, put in place then to activate this grid, because each of the pyramids are like a musical note. And they basically were operating to maintain a higher frequency, even though the Earth was going into lower frequency. And when I was in Turkey, I had this vision and remembrance of being there right when the pyramid grid was about to go down. So the pyramid grid was already unstable, and it was on certain days it could work okay, on certain days it wouldn't work. It'd be kind of like having power in your house one day and then not having power in your house. So they were making things, trying to make things as quickly as possible to build as much stuff as they could, but they knew that they were now at a place, because they'd used the pyramids for 1,000 years, they were then at a place where they couldn't use the pyramids anymore. So they told everyone through telepathy, that's how they could communicate then, that they were going to shut down the pyramid network Otherwise, it was going to possibly destroy the planet, right? So there was like this whole scalar grid that was very, very unstable. So they had to shut it down. And when they shut it down, it moved everyone into such a low level of consciousness that a mother would not even remember her own children. And so there was this moment where they all knew that it was going to happen, and they were in these temples, right? And then when it shut down, they literally went from a moment of having, you know, fifth, sixth dimensional consciousness to having like, you know, 3D, like you're at the animal level. You don't even know who you are. And the weeping and the sadness that was from that we all felt that we were there, was, wow. I was blown away. We were at Ayana's temple, and it was, wow. And I could remember that feeling as well. So, you know, all of this stuff that's been here has been dormant for the last 13,000 years, really, 12 to 13,000 years. And they were able to keep it up for a while, but it's not been operating. Now it's starting to truly operate again. The Great Pyramids turned on again. Yes, Tracy?
Do you think that's connected to what we were channeling in May in Abu Rawash, that disconnection between...
Yeah. So actually what Tracy's referring to, she was with us in Egypt, and we had a channeling session at Abu Rawash where all held hands to remember exactly the circumstance right before the place was destroyed. And it was this incredible experience that like everyone was just speaking, like we'll do it here too. Everyone was speaking what they would remember, and they would just say it in sentences, and then another person would say it, what they were intuiting, right? What they were feeling, what they were remembering. And then the architect told us exactly, you know, that wasn't even part of it, but then the architect told us exactly what we had intuited was exactly what happened, which was wild, in how the place was destroyed. And Abu Rawash is the pyramid place that is the 5, 12, 13 triangle. So the first pyramid at Abu Rawash is the 5, 12, 13. The second pyramid, and that's the same one on the back of the dollar bill. Exactly the same one. The second pyramid is an equilateral triangle. So what that represents is Source Creator, the Cat's Eye Nebula, is actually the Source Creator itself becomes the triangle that's equilateral, right? The equilateral triangle is Source Creator. But that's why it's always depicted as such. But the way he moves, the way he acts, all of his works, her works, and if I say his, it's just out of convenience. It's not, there's no masculine or feminine at that level, like literally none. The way it carries out its actions and its imaginings and the illusion of the matrix itself is all through the 5, 12, 13 triangle. So it's the operation of time. It's the triangle of time. It has 30 as its, so if you imagine like an isosceles version, it would be 2 of them as a pyramid form. So it has the same perimeter as its area, which is 30 for each one of the 5, 12, 13. But as an isosceles, it becomes 60. This is where the base 60 time system comes from. So you have 60 and 60, right? And that is the perimeter and also the area of that isosceles triangle with back-to-back 2, 5, 12, 13 proportion. That becomes the portal into a whole new existence. So as we go into higher dimension, we start to realize more and more of these things. That's why math is just getting you closer and closer to the language of the universe. That's all it is. So everything you've thought about math as being a certain thing that's just like, oh my God, what a pain in the ass. And I don't want to listen to this stuff. Now, I hope that you start to see that it's something altogether different, and it's actually the way you communicate and the way the universe communicates back to you. Stones. The 3 anchor stones. Can someone hold this for a second?
You're not videoing, are you?
No, that's just recording. So the 3 anchor stones are the ones I mentioned yesterday. They're actually in exactly a position that's symbolic to this place. And they have the unique characteristic that you'll see how many stones, how many of these blocks are there around this stone. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
What's the proportion of the Great Pyramid?
22/7.
7
Or
height,
something.
11 base, right? The same as 2 over pi. So if you notice here, there's not only 7, but you have 1, 2, where like kind of the joints are. 1, 2, right? 3, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm missing some.
Well, there's 2 here, no?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 joints on it and 7 stones around it. That represents the balance of masculine and feminine. That's the squaring of the circle. So this is the proportion of squaring the circle. So when we get up on top as well, we'll see the 3 giant circles, right? Those represent the belt stars of Orion. And this, and we discovered this last time, this location of this anchor stone, the other anchor stone that's over there, right? And then there's a third one. They're exactly in the shape and form of Orion's belt, all of them. But what I'm looking for now is the relation to Cygnus, because the representation of Orion's belt being on the stomach now is moving up, right? It's moving up. So Orion gets his wings. So that means that Cygnus is also somehow embedded into the entire architecture of this Sacsayhuamán location. Okay? Because that is representing the ascension of Viracocha. Viracocha is ascending, and so the swan is now coming in. So I'm sure we're going to find something related to that here.
Let's keep going, okay? It's split in the war. But there are hundreds of temples like this. This is just, of course, this is the center, but if you go over there, 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 you go over there, you find new temples, new symbols. The more fantastic temple for me, there is a one rock, especially if you walk 1 hour over there, with 7 steps. It's close one river. It's a hole, but has 7 steps. Over there is the sun disk. I know very well. Because one day I was meditating the whole night there. I saw the sun disk. It's 1 hour from here. It's really deep. But there are many constructions.
Discovered internal.
Yes, exactly. There are many. Like in, for example, where we are going Kenko in the afternoon, we will see more megalithic sites. Like, yes, your question?
What are these windows in the ground? Sometimes we see windows.
Yeah, those are for reflection, for knife.
Oh,
For reflect.
sunlight.
Yes, for light.
Okay.
Reflected for night. Now it's not possible to visit anymore Sacsayhuamán at night. But before it was possible. For example, until the 90s, it was possible to visit Machu Picchu.
Here as well. Yes. Yes. So this is one of the anchor stones right here. It has 7 around it. And this is the smallest of the 3 anchor stones. So this would be Menkaure Pyramid. So that means that I should be able to find something related to the 2 new pyramids down there. Okay, so I'm going to walk over there in just a second. You guys, I'll do that by myself, but this is the anchor stone, so it's got 7 and 11. So 1, 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's 2 more somewhere I'm missing.
Do you think it might be underground? Like buried under dirt?
Oh no, this is 1, 2, 3. That's right. This is 3 on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's what it is. There's a little slight thing here. That gives you the 7 and 11 ratio. It's the same one as the other ones. So, so I'm going to go over there to see if I can find where the 2 new pyramids are somehow represented, because they should be right off of that line. So this would be Menkaure Pyramid.
Singing, making music. They climb the mountain difficult to receive a bless of Venus and also of Sun. Madre Pachamama, symbol of female. Yeah, so that's why this symbol in Chacana, male and female together, not only female. The ancient Egyptians are holding only female, and also cycle of life. Yeah. Here, the ancient Mayas, the soul is traveling to Southern Cross. Yeah, to return, reincarnation. people believe in the Starship a real machinery. No, it's talking about in the spiritual world. Yes, in the spiritual world, when somebody died, yeah, you should pass through there. Yeah, and then to go under the world, and then to rebirth.
Through the center,
Yes. Yeah, so through the center.
multi-dimensional portal.
Multi-division. That's why chacana, when we do ceremonies normally, we use chacana. We put, my last ceremony when I did with this stone is from Machu Picchu. It's a serpentine. The Machu Picchu mountain has serpentine, and the green side is like emeralds, little chips of emeralds. Is medicinal plant, medicinal rock. I was holding in my last medicinal journey, and when I was touching, it was like no heavy, nothing, like really light. I didn't feel how heavy it was, like it was like that. It was floating, and that's the moment when I say, "Oh, wow, it's spectacular." Yes, and that's why when you pass through the Andes, you should take also 1 liter chacana. Yes, as a gift or as an amulet. I don't know. Okay, that is the chacana, male and female together. In the materialistic world, Sun and Mother Earth. In the spiritual world, Southern Cross and Orion, because the spiritual world are the stars, and the materialistic of this world is only Sun and the Earth. This is the normal vision. That's why we can see different kinds of architectures. And also the Incas, they used to split in different kinds of people. People of the earth, they used to only believe on sun and only believe on Mother Earth. People of the sky, the people to use to open the terra, yeah, nyawing we call, they pray to the stars.
What do you call it?
Nyawing.
Yahweh.
Nyawing. The people to used to be the spiritual world, they denominate themselves, we are Hanang. Hanang. And those people, they used to make elongated heads to be different than the other people. Yeah, Hanang architecture are the megalithic temples. Urin architecture is the square-shaped stones. Tomorrow we visit Coricancha. Coricancha temple in the valley, in the Cusco city, has different architecture. The stones are mostly square, no angles. This is Urin people, people from the earth. People from the sky, angles, representing the Milky Way snake. That's why they have shapes of snakes everywhere. Yeah, so that's why Cusco is split. Urin, Hanang. Urin people of the valley, Hanang people of the here. That's why we can see here lots of symbols of snakes. Even we use like slide these places because it's Hanang architecture. Okay, that's why they were souls to Earth come from Hanang. They were souls from Earth. But our evolution of all of the humans, we should climb to be Hanang. We will kill in all the Hanang people everywhere, to be honest. We kill Jesus Christ, we kill Hermes, we kill the Incas, we kill the Egyptians, we kill Hanang people. We were killing, to be honest. Yeah, they were teaching us the spiritual world, but people, they go churches. Urim, they were keeping Urim. That's why behind all religions is the sun. They pray the sun. They pray in the moon. Simple. Behind the Catholic religion is the sun. I know very well. They change just a little bit the calendar. They move. Yeah, they say 24th of December born Jesus Christ, but no, Jesus Christ born 21 of June. Yeah, there is a time also when the sun passed through the Southern Cross, and per 3 days is in the center of the Southern Cross, the sun. It's like when Jesus Christ was in the cross, per 3 days the sun passed through the Southern Cross in the Southern Hemisphere. And it's representing when Jesus Christ was dead. And then in the 3rd day, the sun moved again, returned his position. In Inca's time, for example, Orion, it was really sacred also, and also I have here the symbology. Mr. Robert was watching the eye, of the of the cat. He told me in the rock, no? So the two eyes look similar, no? Can you see? Yes, looks similar like dragon and feline, no? Similar for me. That's why when he saw that, okay, he saw that. I see. Yeah, that person. This is the Andean calendar. Yeah, so the sun calendar. Incas come here in 21 of June, not only to receive the sun. The Orion comes straight from east, only in June, 21 of June. This perfectly comes from east, the sun, the Orion constellation, and the sun comes through there. It's like Orion and the sun, they comes together. And that's why it's a meeting, Orion and the sun together. And the whole day, they move together. The whole day, they move together. I was in Machu Picchu trying to know is it real or not. Now, thank you to the technology that we have now, Stellarium. I was in Machu Picchu watching that, and it's real. It's Orion in that side, and sun comes together. Yes? Father and the child. Yeah, together. Yes? It's really impressive that day. And in December, the Southern Cross and the sun together. But now the sun, Orion, June. And December, the cross and the sun. That's incredible because it's talking about all the religions. What happened? Why Orion is secret in this cosmovision? Because Orion moves always from east to west. It's possible to see the whole year, winter or summer. Winter is Orion comes from there. Summer goes then. Like all the year is
Northern or southern hemisphere.
exactly. But here we don't see Orion with the head. Even I was trying to prove, not always just hearing what people say or of the books. As a normal person, when you see from the southern hemisphere Orion, is 4 stars. It's like a square, and 3 in the center. That means they mean 7. So my father told me, center, God. Yes.
Okay, let's go look at the heart here, which I just discovered something else. This is not known to have been a heart. Now we know it is. And also the brain. We're going to go there, and then I want to do a quick ceremony back over there. Yes.
Before finish, I'm sorry. This is the Hanan people. They did his representation with elongated head. Yes, and this is this man. This man is yes. This person, what comes to us? Right. He's selling this. He's from community from here. Chacanas. I know very well. To be a guy, sometimes it's really. You have to walk, and they are sellers. But sometimes we should help people. For me, it's easy to say no. But sometimes we should share what we have with people. Yeah, if you want to share. He was explaining us about this rock. It's a complex calendar. But when we were watching with Mr. Robert, he said, and we were watching from the upper part from here, no, Mr. Robert? Yeah, it's true, because it's the heart. It's representing the 7 sisters or Pleiades. In a minute, you will see there are also 7 windows in the base part. And he was focusing also in the, like using the stellarium or
Corona Borealis.
yes, and yeah, it's like the heart.
The beehive.
It's the heart. Yeah, when a recommendation for me, when you pray, face to the heart. It really feels like really much music. Even if you don't use any medicine, when you feel it, go straight. Let them bleed it, so you have to feel it. Because all of these places are medicine. When you are here, it's medicine. It feels like that. Medicine.
You're visiting the inside of your heart. And that's what the caves are. We went inside, right? And they're very, very small crawl spaces. You get very, very dirty. But we were in the atrial chamber, and it's like a little small, tiny cathedral that you can barely fit in. But boy, do you ever feel the energy. The energy is really, really powerful. And this is an open dig site, so we're generally not allowed to be inside this. But this is the first time that there's been excavations going on here in 50 years.
Oh yes, Mr. Calero is
Dr. Calero,
is
yes.
Dr. Calero. Yes, is that. Thank you for telling me. Dr. Calero is really lucky person. We don't know how he got the permission. Renato, you know very well. It's difficult, dear Renato, to get a permission here. We don't know how, what he did. What he did to get that permission to excavate the tunnels under Cusco. And he saw that tunnels is really incredible. You did a meditation inside.
Yes,
What do
yes.
you feel, Mr. Robert, inside?
Oh, it was very powerful. It was a heart-brain activation. And that's why the corona borealis is also represented in the ventricles there. The situation of the stars is the corona borealis. So that's the heart-brain. It's when the brain and the heart come together into one consciousness. So it means that we can have the logos. The logos is the logical mind. But we need the pathos, the heart, to surround it all in order for it all to work properly. And this is what we call the tetramorphic brain. The tetramorphic brain is the face of the lion, the face of the bull, the face of the angel, right? It's on the Ark of the Covenant, and the face of the eagle. Those four together create the ideal brain when they're balanced with the Shekinah. The Shekinah is the divine feminine descending, the swan descending, right? The Cygnus. So that's what this represents. So if you know where Corona Borealis is, it sits right on top of Hercules. It sits right on top of Ophiuchus. So as they ascend, because Ophiuchus is the snake tamer, Asclepius, as he ascends, he basically takes in the crown. The crown comes on. So the royal stars, which are Aldebaran of Taurus, Regulus, and Fomalhaut and Taurus, they become the crown stars.
Wow.
They go to the North Pole stars. So the four North Poles we have are Polaris, that's our current North Pole. 6,000 years ago was Thuban and Dracos. So on Taurus, the scorpion becomes the dragon, right? Thuban. And then we have Fomalhaut becomes Polaris, and Regulus becomes Lyra, or Vega, the star Vega in Lyra. And then the last one in Aldebaran, which is Michael, Archangel Michael, becomes Deneb, which is the swan. And at the center, all of those together exalt Orion, Metatron, to the Cat's Eye Nebula. And that's why the Cat's Eye Nebula is right in the center of those four stars. So it's basically an exaltation of remembrance. That's basically what it is. So we have here, we'll walk around the heart, and we can have a look at it.
Here is actually the excavation. Here we see how they are digging the ground. And also what we are talking about.
So imagine you're the blood going through the superior vena cava right now. This is where the cave is?
Yeah, yes, and well, we stop a moment here because we want to show you the symbology. Oh, this stone is very powerful. I will show you what is this stone, okay? We get closer, please. I will show you what is this, especially this stone. Looks like this, not nothing, but something. We get closer, everyone, please. Here comes also Discovery Channel, National Geographic, Graham Hancock. They passed through here just recently. Mr. Robert Graham, just recently. You are passing also today. That means it's a really important place. You see it's crashing, like the rock is like opening, like looks like has been destroyed. Yes, of course. In the 18th century, one of the militaries from Peru, not from the Spanish time. Peru was in the 18th century. When he comes from the war from Bolivia, he returns. He was looking for gold to give the soldiers, to pick the people. And they used gunpowder here. And at that time, the cave was open. And in that time, the people, they used to think inside of this rock, it was gold. They used gunpowder here, and they... This stone, so we are watching here. Can you see this? And this is the two eyes. This stone, in opposite way, it was the face of the snake, and it was here. This is the entrance of the snake. This is the head of the snake. When you, the people of the bath, we will come here, pay attention to this rock. It was the head here, the snake here, And these steps going down here is representing to this place is going under the ground. Yes? Over there we can see in the center, we can see a division of the stone. Over there, if you try to go really closer, you will see this kind of V between that stones. That V is facing to Pleiades, to the seven sisters. That means this place, it was a gate not only from the ground, it was also from the sky.
So the other tunnels coming up through this
Yes.
are very likely also representing from down here the other veins and arteries that basically lead into and from the heart. So that looks like it would be the aorta right here. And so basically, as you look at this whole thing where there's that center point where you said there's a V, that point in there is what we would call the, right here would be the SA node, right at the top. That's where the brain of the heart is. It's what controls all the electricity and the sodium potassium pump in the heart. It makes your heart beat. And then it goes from the top chambers and then squeezes the blood into the bottom, right? And it actually uses vortex mathematics in order to circulate the blood. It's not from the pressure of the pump that it's actually pumping it, right? You guys probably have heard that before. And it's true. And I've worked with Jagat Narula, who's one of the top cardiologists in the world. I did a lot of innovation before in cardiology. And this is exactly the shape of the heart on the inside, which is the AV node. So the center point is the atrioventricular junction, right? The AV node junction. The SA node is the sinoatrial junction. So that's the point where you have your thought, your brain of your heart basically comes out. And then all of this allows you to get into these different chambers in these vessels. It's literally a model of a human heart. It's pretty incredible. Any questions? Yes.
Did anybody explain about the sharp cut and the
Yes.
smooth?
Yes. So these sharp cuts, you're going to see this in lots of places here in Peru. These always represent, right, and they have, we believe, sound quality characteristics. So there's certain resonances. When I was in there, I was resonating at exactly 117 hertz, which, by the way, 11.7 squared is 137. And it's the exact same frequency as the sarcophagus resonance frequency. So I was doing it, it was like, it's literally this. And it goes, wah, inside the chamber in there. So just like being in the sarcophagus. But this is also very similar, if you've been to the Great Pyramid, to the corbels on the walls in the Grand Gallery. So there are 7 corbels on the walls, and you see these corbels a lot here. We don't know exactly the purpose. We know that there are certain sound characteristics that come with the resonance related to them. But there's another place that shows Viracocha. So Viracocha, which is Orion, has a place where on June 21st, so on their winter solstice, because we're in the southern hemisphere, basically the sun comes around this exact same structure and it lights up at the other eye. So he's got a right eye and a left eye. The left eye basically appears with this. So again, it's a representation of the left eye of Horus, right? The same story that we keep hearing in the mono myth over and over and over again. So we see this often representing the facial characteristics. When we see this style, it relates to Viracocha. Rumi, right?
Yes.
Yes. So this style of the cuts here, we see this a lot in.
Oh yes, we saw in the, especially in the temple of the X temple. It's
Yes.
called the X temple. It's located in the other side. You can see the profile of Viracocha to produce with the, especially with the, talking about equinox and solstice. Yeah, they work with solstice and equinox. And
The
you can see
Chakana is
profile.
actually the reference to the solstice and equinox.
Exactly.
And the solstice is the masculine, and the equinox is the feminine.
Exactly.
energy.
Also, how today?
What's that look like to you?
The brain.
A brain. Even the color is a brain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You guys see that? So this is like the side view of a brain. Literally all the way over there. It's massive. It's huge. And then all the stuff on the inside of this, there's like a pituitary gland stone. There's a pineal gland stone. It's all inside this. It's all a brain. And they didn't know that until we found it yesterday. But I came here last year too, and I didn't notice there was a brain. But they did know that this was intentionally carved.
Wow.
So go ahead, Rumi.
Yes, well, around this place is really fantastic because there are lots of artifacts. Today work with different days, and it's really spectacular to see how in solstice, how in winter, how in summer, this brain has a connection And also this brain, according to Mr. Jorge Calero, is representing the mountains. Mr. Calero told us yesterday. And behind, once we will cross together, going down, we will see a one seat we call Intihuatana. It's a kind of chair with the 3 levels when we will see the Intihuatana here, okay? This place, it was for initiators. That's why I told you, Sacsayhuamán. Yeah, when you make food, your brain or your head. And yes, it's true, it's the brain here.
It's the brain.
Yes, that means you make full your brain.
Yeah.
Has connection.
Evidamente. Kind of funny. That's the thing. It's like we have all this stuff hidden in plain sight. It's not because it's been hidden. It's just been not visible to our consciousness. So then we come here and this happens all the time. We're like, Gabriel's been with me so many times this happened. And I'm like, oh, it's a brain or it's a heart. And then they're like, what? No, it's mountains. And there's like, I never saw mountains like that. Maybe not even China. But no, it's definitely a brain, and it has all the substructures of the brain inside of it. So by this knowledge, and even where the tunnels are, we can learn something more about what they were trying to teach us. And I believe it's all about heart-brain consciousness. How do you get to hemisynchronization? It's a balance of masculine and feminine. And we also found in here that he told us that on October 21st.
He said that.
Yes, on October 21st, he said,
Exactly.
this is something special I want to show you. And he's an astronomer, right? Archaeoastronomer. And so he said, on 21st of October, we have this very special commemoration where the light comes in exactly to light this up for the Puchao, right? Which is
the Punchao is like it's a kind of baby. Like I will show you.
Baby Viracocha in a way.
Baby Viracocha. It was made by gold normally. I will look. But let's go in situ to show them.
Yeah, we should go down and show it, yes.
Instead, I look.
An Egyptian myth. Horus. Okay. So on October 21st, the sun comes through and lights up the statue they would place here. Exactly here. So I said to him, I'm like, wait a minute. October 21st. He said, yes. I said, I went to Abu Simbel. And Abu Simbel on October 21st, it lights up the back wall so that the face of Horus merges together with the face. It gets the one crown to become Ra-Horakti. This commemorates when Horus is able to have the wisdom, the left and right eye of Horus, back in place to be able to rule the 2 Egypts, Lower and Upper Egypt. And it happens every year on October 21st. It's literally the exact same commemoration they did here. How is that possible? Because it's all consciousness, right? So, but I told you today, the meter, the foot, the cubit, the second, all of this is discovered. It's not created. We didn't create any of it, right? Source consciousness, Metatron, created all of it, and then we find it, and then we claim it as our own. But actually, it's something we just discovered. So you could be across oceans and never have any contact, even without telepathy and everything else. And the people across oceans are going to find the same analogies, the same metaphors, the same everything. And I can give you multiple examples of that. You know, in every language, the words for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are associated with certain planets, right? Or the moon. So Monday, Montag, it's the moon day, right? But also in Japanese, and these were words that have been around long before Japan was ever even visited by the Dutch or by any of the, the Portuguese traders. So how is it that they came up with Moon Day for Monday, which is Getsuyobi in Japanese? How is it they came up with Sunday as Sunday, the day of the sun, in Japanese as well? Nichiyobi. In Chinese it's the same, in Korean it's the same. So every language, miércoles, right? It's the same meaning, right? Wednesday, Tuesday, mardi, right? In French, that's Mars. Mercury is Wednesday. Every language, it's Mercury. So the same exact associations exist. So they were divided for thousands of years, had no contact with each other, yet they find it.
Well, this is only a representation of one of the amulets, what people they got always taking Punchao. It's not the original Punchao. The original Punchao, we don't know where is that, no? But it's an amulet, but it looks similar. The baby used to have always a big earring, big ears, and this is her wife. This is known in the ancient and ancestral culture as a Pachatata. That is the male energy. And Pachamama,
Yeah, over there.
this, the sun cross here.
And this is why this is pituitary, the feminine.
Exactly.
Yes, this is the triangle of pituitary. Exactly.
Yesterday, the archaeologist, he showed us, this looks like the woman part from the other side. If you go to the other side, you will see like the...
Yeah, you can see like the back end. Here, I'll show you.
Yes. Go over there and you will see how comes. The sun is fertilizing and the baby comes here.
Around this side, guys.
It's alive.
I feel it too. That is the...
Yeah. So if you stand up here on this. This looks like a woman leaning over. Her head would be this direction.
Yes.
And this would be her backside.
Yes.
Right? So this would be her tail. So, and this represents the feminine stone. The feminine stone is pituitary. The masculine is the pineal. Okay, the pineal would be back there. We're in the brain. So I said to you today, everywhere you go represents something on the inside of you that you're visiting. You're touching an aspect of yourself you didn't know that you were touching. I lost my battery. So you have no idea what all the things around you are actually representing. As you walk through these different areas inside here, they all represent different aspects of your consciousness, different aspects of the brain. The hypothalamus, we're inside of it. We're inside of it. The hypothalamus is the part of the brain that this whole section right here, this whole block, this is all the hypothalamus. That's the point, right? This is called the cave of Brahma. This is the cave of Brahma. So that's why it's all circled out here. This is the hypothalamus, and this becomes the eye of Horus. Right, when we look at it on the side, you cut the side of the brain, we're literally standing inside the eye of Horus.
We should do a ceremony here.
Yes, let's do a ceremony here. Come on around in a circle.